Om Namah Shivaya. Today I will tell you about the horoscope or natal chart of Donald Trump, the President-elect of USA. After he won the US elections with a decisive mandate, I was very curious to know as to what kind of person he is as per his horoscope. Donald Trump was born on 14th June 1946 at 10:54 a.m. in New York City. As per the horoscope of Donald Trump, his ascendant is Leo, which is Siddhi Lagan. In the ascendant is a very powerful planet, Mangal, which is Mars. In the second house is Jupiter retrograde, and in the fourth house is Moon and Ketu. In the 10th house is Rahu and Surya. In the 11th house is Mercury, and in the 12th house is Saturn and Venus. So as per Vedic Astrology, Donald Trump is basically Siddhi Lagan with Mangal or Mars placed very powerfully in the first house. This means that the horoscope of Donald Trump I found to be extraordinary, in the sense which I will explain to you how the placement of different planets in his chart has made him the man he is presently. So we will discuss each planet in his chart according to its placement and what are the effects. Now if we take Mars in the ascendant, then it means that this person is very courageous, very bold, very brave, and a strong personality. He has very strong likes and dislikes and is quite fearless. At the same time, he is very unforgiving. He does not forget or forgive his enemies and will give back equally to all his enemies. The Mars placed in the ascendant, the Leo ascendant, means it's a combination of earth and fire. So he has a very deep anger and does not forget all his enemies forever. He will give back in equal measure to all of them. Mars also means land. It also means the borders of the country, the boundaries of his nation. So, naturally, Donald Trump will seek to secure the borders of USA, also be very possessive about the land. He will secure the country, the home, and the nation. He will therefore naturally tend to drive out illegal migrants from the country. So, very strict action on illegal migrants is likely to take place during his tenure. He has also been very lucky to escape 2 assassination attempts recently and has also won all the court cases. This is also due to him being a Mars person, and he has finally won over all his enemies. He will also be very tough on terrorism, and as he said, he will stop the wars Now, why will he stop the wars is because he has already spent, the US has already spent about $64 billion in the war going on in Ukraine with Russia. It has also spent about $18 billion in the war which is going on in Israel and Gaza with other participants like Lebanon, Yemen, Syria, etc. So, spending so much money on wars and weapons, naturally, the US economy was going downhill. The cost of living had increased. Inflation had increased. The middle class was being very heavily affected by inflation. And Donald Trump will seek to control the high cost of living in the US. It is estimated that about 8 to 15 million illegal migrants entered the US during the previous regime. This means that the earnings of mainly the blacks declined by about 6% during the previous regime, and the middle class was also badly hurt by the extra spendings on war by the Biden regime. Now, not only stopping the wars, but stopping aid to countries which sponsor terrorism is also high on the agenda of Donald Trump. So Pakistan can naturally expect that aid to Pakistan is likely to be quite substantially reduced when Donald Trump takes office. If we come to the 10th house, the Rahu and Sun, that is Surya, are placed together in the 10th house. Now, this is an extremely important combination for any politician, which means that not only that person will be, for whatever reason, be in politics, but also reach the highest post which a politician can expect in that country. This is a very, very important and lucky aspect in his horoscope. A person who has Rahu and Surya placed in the 10th house, which also has aspect of Jupiter or Guru, which is also retrograde, Vakri, it means that that person will definitely reach the highest post in the country. Donald Trump was not a politician basically, but due to certain circumstances or certain comments made by some other persons or instigations, he happened to enter politics. But he had to enter politics because this combination of Rahu and Surya in the 10th house means that he was meant to be in politics ultimately. And it will definitely take him to the highest post in the land, which any politician can aspire for. The aspect of Jupiter on the 10th house is also very fortunate because not only Rahu and Surya, but Guru is also looking at the 10th house, which means that this person will reach the highest levels in the political field. Next, we come to Mercury or Buddha in the 11th house. Now, you may ask as to how he is such a top businessman and a billionaire. This is because of Buddha. In the 11th house, Buddha, Mercury, is located in its own sign, in its own house, and it is definitely, it means that he will be highly successful, highly entrepreneurial and will succeed in whatever business ventures he takes up. So, it's a rare combination of a top businessman plus a politician, which is indicated in his chart. Mercury in the 11th house means that he will be a very big businessman. He will be able to run variety of businesses of all kinds, whatever he wants to achieve, and his wealth and riches will continue to multiply from year to year, which is true in the case of Donald Trump. Another aspect which has made him a billionaire, and more than that, is the placement of Shukra or Venus in the 12th house. Shukra or Venus in the 12th house is very fortunate for becoming extremely wealthy. It is like a Lakshmi Yoga. So basically he has the blessings of Venus or Shukra also added to his Mercury being in the 11th, which itself shows that he will be a highly successful businessman as well, besides being a politician. So initially he started with only business, but subsequently he happened to enter politics, and in politics he reached the highest levels. The placement of Mercury in the 11th in its own house also means Donald Trump will be extremely good orator. He will be able to express himself very correctly. He will be having a charisma and will be able to take on the masses, impress the masses with his speech. So he is definitely going to have a very good impact upon the masses through his speech. Moon. Now let's come to Moon, which is in the 4th house with Ketu. Now Moon sitting with Ketu in the 4th house is terrible for his enemies. His enemies will be fully decimated and they cannot hope to compete with him or try to make him suffer, as perhaps he decides to take revenge, then he will definitely succeed in finishing off all his enemies. And he will be very steadfast in that. He will not change his mind about it. So he is fully prepared to take on all his enemies. And he is not the type to forget or forgive all his enemies. Jupiter retrograde in the 2nd house. Again, it means that wealth will literally come to his door, will come to his house, and he'll be extremely, extremely rich. He will also have the vision and the power to drive the economy. He is also planning to impose some tax cuts and to increase the tariffs on China. About 60% import duty he is thinking of imposing on China, and about 25% import duties on Mexico. He will also be quite positive for improving the condition of the economy. Naturally, his proposed drill baby drill is going to take on a lot of new ventures, and it will help in stabilizing the economy. So Donald Trump is definitely going to bring in a new world order. As promised by him, he has said that he will make America great again. Donald Trump also is a believer in God, and he has been given this high position by the grace of God. Divine power is helping him in this because he was lucky to escape two assassination attempts on him. Besides, he will also cause a transformation in the entire US and in other nations of the world. Here I may like to mention a small fact about him. When he was president during the last term, ISKCON wanted to manufacture Raths for the Lord Jagannath Yatra in New York. They approached his office that we would like to take this big ground which is available without any charge to make the Raths for Lord Jagannath. That person in the office told them, no, it will not be agreed to at all. But when he conveyed it to Donald Trump, he readily agreed and gave this big ground in New York to ISKCON to manufacture the Raths for the Rath Yatra of Lord Jagannath in New York during his first presidency. Now Lord Jagannath has blessed him and he very narrowly escaped this assassination attack on him with Lord Jagannath's blessings. It may not be so well known, so I thought I will just mention it. But in conclusion, definitely I would say that as per the Vedic astrology, this is an extraordinary chart, horoscope of Donald Trump, and he has won this election with a decisive mandate of the people, and he will make far-reaching changes in USA and in the entire world. Thank you for watching this video.